Hey everyone, this is your friendly neighborhood JIU librarian, and today I wanted to talk about databases. JIU subscribes to several quality databases, and there's a couple ways you can get to them. The first one is the Everything Search, which I talk about in another little presentation, and that connects to every database at the same time. So when you put in a search here, it is going to bring back a lot of things. Sometimes I recommend that people try to do a little more focused search and just try one database at a time. And since we have some really good databases with a lot of good stuff, it's not a bad option. We have a couple places to access the databases and other library resources, which you could see right here is this link. Also, I've got this link here, databases, journals, and ebooks. And then down here, I've got databases, journals, and ebooks, and they all link to the same place, but I just wanted to make sure to give everybody options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then we get to this screen, which is databases and other library resources. And what this is an alphabetical listing of all of the databases that we subscribe to. You can see, you can keep scrolling down too if you want. And we have several. I also have them categorized up here, and this is probably helpful too. If you're looking more for a business resource, you can go here, education resource here, and a general reference, you can click on there too. So if you're just not sure where to start, general references normally are okay. And also it happens that the first couple here, Academic Search Complete and Academic Search Premier, are pretty good general ones. And they're going to have a lot of education and business also. So we're going to go ahead and look at one of those. And it's going to bring me another description. And I need to click one more time. And it'll take a second, and here it is. So basically, I don't want to say Google too freely, but it's a search engine that will search all of the resources, and does so by you putting in terms here. So just to start, I'm gonna just put in, let's see, managing change. There you can go. You can see it's already been a keyword before, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a search to get us started. You can see that it comes up with 1,500 results. And if we're looking through here, if I'm going to look at the second one here, it says the article focused on the 6 steps for managing organizational change. And in the title, it has managing change also. And then the first one here, it says rehabilitation centers and change, and participatory methods for managing redesign and renovation. So what this search here does, by default, it's going to search everywhere. So I've got managing change, number 1 and 2, but here change is first, and it's in a different order and managing. So what it's doing is it's looking for everywhere that it sees management and change. The way I can change that is to put quotation marks around it, and it will specifically look for managing change and nothing else. So you can see right here it's 1,569. Let's do a search. Now it's down to 509 because it's specifically looking for managing change. So let's look at a couple things on this front page here. Now, a lot of your courses are going to ask you to find full text and peer-reviewed journals. And a lot of people kind of freak out a little bit about that, but it's really easy to do in most of these databases, actually almost all of these databases. Over here on my left, I've got all my delimiters, or what they're essentially called. And these are all the things that I can enhance the search, I can take things away from the search. But you see right here on the top, I've got full text. So 509 down to 322. What that means is a lot of databases will have citations, but they won't necessarily have the entire article. If you click full text, it's going to give you the full article. So you could see like all these little PDFs here. That means you can get directly to the article. And then scholarly and peer-reviewed is also another checkbox here. 322, you could see it dropped down to 2 journals that have been proven and it knows are specifically good for this. So right now we're at 205, and that's much more manageable than the number we had before. Then also down here, you can look at the date. So a lot of classes will ask, within the last 5 years. So we can go back to 2009. And now see, it's taking us down even further. So just by putting some of these delimiters on here, it says the date and the peer review and the full text, you only have 64 options, which is still a lot of options, and but it's going to be good quality stuff for you. Okay, so I want to look at this citation here. So it's going to basically bring up the, let's see, I'm going to move this up a little here. It is going to bring up the entire PDF. This is the full work here, just as you would find it in an article. And let's see, there's a couple things you can do here. And when I have people do searches, I recommend that they save things that they think are interesting, so they can always go back to it and get information from it, and they can always refer to it without having to get back into the library. So when you're working with PDFs, if you take your mouse and you hover it down here, this black bar is going to come up, and this should come up in pretty much every browser and anytime you have a PDF on the web or anywhere else. So I've got a few options here. If I wanted to zoom in a little, I can do that. Most of the stuff print. If you want to print this to your local machine, you can do this, and it'll take you to the printer, whatever printer you have installed, and then saving. This is what I recommend, and it's going to take a second to think about it, of course, because we're recording, and it should be popping up here any second. Yeah, here's you should see this anytime you really want to save anything, and it's going to save it as an Adobe Acrobat document, which is a PDF. So I'm going to say that this was Wednesday's search, or whatever you want to. You could put the title of the article, which is the 30% solution, and I can do that too. 30%. Oops, can't type. Solution. And then what I did previously is I right-clicked on my desktop, and I made a folder. So what I can do is save all of this stuff in just for this particular search today, or I could save it for a particular class. And that's just a strategy. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's an easy way to organize all of your documents. Looking at this page, I wanted to show you, well, let me show you these guys over here first real quick. So if you wanted to, instead of saving it, or if you, in addition, you want to save it, you can click the email button and you can email it to yourself, and it will be an attachment, which is pretty cool. Or, let me get rid of that. Or this could be very useful for you guys. It does an automatic APA, because you will be using APA. It already does the APA citation for you. So if you want to take that and you can copy that and put it in at the end for your reference list, or however you manage your references. But it's already put there for you. I mean, I always recommend double checking, because sometimes, even computers mess up. You may have heard that. But excuse me. But it's already laid out for you. So again, there's no excuse. And then this guy right here, this is what's called a permalink. And if you wanted to refer back to this paper, this is a link that will get you all the way through the library and the security, and be a direct link right back to this specific article. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to look at this guy here. And this is a detailed record for this particular guy. So remember, before we were looking for managing change. The way that databases organize their articles is by something called subject terms, and you can see those here. So EBSCO is this database. You can see right here, EBSCO. They assign these particular subject terms to this. So if you're looking for managing change, I happen to see something here called organizational change management, which sounds pretty close to what I want to do, but it also gives me a couple other options: organizational structure, corporate governance, models, best practices. Those all sound pretty good. So if I don't know really what I'm doing or where I'm starting, that's pretty good. So let's, I think we had 64 before with all of our different parameters, and now see organizational change management is a little more specific, so we have far fewer than we did before. But let's put it on full text. And see, we went down to 74. And then I've got my peer reviewed. to 51. But it looks like I still have some great stuff here too. And then I can set these guys here. If I specifically know an author or a title, that's where I can come in. And then we talked about subject terms just now. If I already know what my subject terms are by looking, and you could see them here also where it says subjects, you could type those in there, and then you can make them search just the subject terms. And then by leaving it blank, you're searching everywhere, and we talked about that a little bit before. So I think that's all for this one. I'm going to talk about subject terms in a little more detail a little later, but thank you for listening, and thank you for using the JIU library, and make sure to let us know if you need any help.